Hello, everybody. Welcome to the first installment actually in a while. I've been on hiatus. I've had a bit of a hiatus from my podcast. So I think this will be the episode I put out this week. So thank you for bearing with me. I've been through some big changes and different things going on in my life with moving to another part of the country and all of the things that come along with that. But I'm so happy to be back, and I'm so happy that the first episode that I'm doing is with two beautiful ladies, and we're about to talk about something that's so close and dear to my heart. So thank you, ladies. Returning podcast guests. I don't think I've ever had you both on together, but you've both been on separately. So welcome, Alison. Welcome, Komal. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Happy moving.
What's that?
Happy move.
Thank you. It's been amazing. I'm just going to take the overlay off because I just realized it's right over Komal's face, which is not very good. So there we go. Everyone can just guess that they're on the Let's Talk Horses podcast. So thank you, ladies. And yes, I mean, it's been such a whirlwind couple of months. Like, I can't believe I've literally been here for not even 3 months. So yeah, I know. Feels like I've been a lifetime already, and so much change and so much awareness that comes along with this that I never expected. I mean, I knew it was going to be huge, but I didn't quite know that it was going to be this huge. So thank you, ladies, because we've been trying to do this podcast for a while, and we all just went, stuff it, let's do it. I mean, it's 10 p.m. where Alison is. I think it's lunchtime. No, it's not even. It's like, 10 a.m., 9:30 where Komal is, which is very early for India. I get the best time, so thank you. But I was literally out in the paddock scratching on my horse. You know when you scratch your horse and your hands are just black and you're kind of like trying to get all the shit out from under your nails? But here we are. So thank you, ladies. I'm so excited because we're talking India today. We're talking the horses of India. We're talking the energy of India as a country, as a people. But more specifically, the horses, really. And I would love to just dive into that with you guys a little bit. And I guess unabashedly, unashamedly, we're also doing it because Alison and I are traveling to India in December to do one of these amazing classes that we're so fortunate to facilitate called Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider. So anywhere you want to start, ladies, I think, like we said, we're going to do about 30 minutes. Alison needs to sleep. She heads to Costa Rica in a few hours. So I think we can just be pretty kind of all over the place with this episode. So anywhere that either of you would like to start here.
Let's go bonkers. Komal, you live in India. You have a horse in India.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about your horse, Komal? How did that come about?
Yeah, I would love to. Oh, so good. I actually got my horse because of Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider, which is what is true, because I had gone to Italy for a week of CHCR classes with Susie, and the moment I came back, this friend of mine, he called me and he's like, I have this horse and would you like to own her? And I'm like, that is the most weirdest thing ever. And I'm like, yes, please, I would like to own her. And I had no clue, but it was such a big yes in my world because I was fresh from working with horses, getting my hands dirty. And that 1 week of CHCR, I would say intensive, just changed my whole world. And then I took her on and started, I would say, taking care of her. But of late, I'm realizing how much she is taking care of me in ways that are unfathomable, really. So yeah, that's pretty much how. And I would love to say something about this class is that the moment we put this CHCR class up, one of my cousins who's like 14 years old, she's been asking me about this class non-stop. Like, she's like, can I come to Ahmedabad? Will you convince my parents? I'll figure it out. Can I just come?
Yes!
And just today morning, I'm like, maybe I just have to say yes to her as well. It's this thing of just saying yes that horses have shown me that has been the most amazing contribution. Beyond logic, beyond is magic. And that's where horses take you, which is so cool. Yeah.
Aww.
That's amazing. And I'd love to talk a little bit follow that thread a little bit about what it is being owned by owning a horse, being the steward of a horse or many horses, I just found out today I'm getting my 5th horse on Thursday. So I've got 2 horses. Yeah, it was so random. Like, I've been asking for more horses here now, right? Because we live in Tasmania. We've got 100 acres. You know, we've got the space. You don't have to worry about real estates and kind of, you know, asking permission from anyone. And we've got a lot of room, which horses need quite a bit of space. The way I like to keep them anyway, as much freedom of movement as they can possibly have if they desire it. Yeah. And I saw this thing come up on Facebook that someone was like, I have this off the track thoroughbred. You know, he's a bit older now. He's been off the track for a while. Big horse, 17-1 hands.
Wow.
And I need to get rid of him. I need to give him away. So I called the guy straight away and was like, what's the deal? And then, yeah, he gets delivered on Thursday. So
wow.
His name's Hugo too, which I think is so cute. I'm going to tell Hugo in Costa Rica. We have a friend in Costa Rica who is this big, gentle, lovely horseman. And I have a feeling just like this horse, the namesake will come along with it, because I feel like he's going to be a gentle creature as well. So
yeah, oh my
I'm very
goodness.
excited.
That's
I'm very
so
excited.
Cool.
But I'd also like to just super quickly, so talk a little bit about horses in India, right? Because I know, Alison, you travel the world a lot. I know, Komal, you've traveled, and we've met and interacted with horses around the world. Alison, maybe I'll start with you. Do you have anything you would like to say about the difference of horses as you travel, and specifically anything about the horses in India that is, you know, front of mind at the moment that makes them a little bit different and a little bit special?
Totally. Well, 2 things. Just before the very first time that I went to India, I was like, to go do Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider. I'm like, wow, like, what's the history there? Because I didn't really know too much about the history of horses in India, even though I knew a lot of the artwork had horses in it and things like that. But just looking up the history of the war horses and the Marwari, am I saying it right? Marwari horses and the beautiful Marwari horses. I'm like, oh my gosh, what would it take? And just the, you know, the pride that people can take in their horses, and that the horses can take in their people in India is just a whole other level of kindness and gratitude and beauty and honor and history. And then there's also some like crazy things that I have never ever seen in any other part of the world, which is the kind of the poverty side of horses in India, where, like, you know, some rescue people are scraping horses up off the street and bringing them to their rescues. And that was kind of like the first horses that we got to work with in the first Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider, was these horses that were just skin and bones, but they were so happy to even we do this thing called the trust exercise, where you actually like lay on a horse. And if you've ever tried laying on a horse that has no meat and is like a tent, basically, this horse is like, yeah, you can do it. It's cool. I'm like, okay. Whoa. So, you know, that, and there was this other place that we went to the next time where there was a bunch of the horses didn't have like any eyes. Like there was all these blind horses pretty much, and one that fully lost both of its eyes, but it was the happiest horse. Could like tell where you were, could come up and sniff you, and was just happy to like go out and walk and do things, even though it had no eyes. So India is like this huge smorgasbord of like amazing, magnificent, and holy shit. And also that works too, okay? And just this cool, like, really expanding, getting rid of all judgments, and also what else is possible, and also just the whole, I love India. It's crazy and I love it.
Me too. Yeah. And the first time I went to India, I was so shocked by India that I ran away. I was like, this was long before it was an Access Consciousness class that I traveled there for. But it really shook me. I was like, I've never wanted to kind of flee a country like that before. And then the next time I was going, I actually used some tools and was smart about things, because, you know, I come from a country like Australia, right, where there's a lot of space. I mean, the whole population of Australia is like 23 million people, which would be less people than would occupy New Delhi, probably, which is one city in one small part of India. Like, I mean, India is one of the more densely populated countries in the world. And, you know, so even though I traveled a lot, India was the first place I went to where I really noticed that, like, you know, that level of people, really, like the level and sheer amount of people. So I think it kind of freaked me out. And then I went back. The first time I went to Mumbai. And then when I went back, I went to New Delhi. And I was like, okay, Sarah, like this time, I found it kind of hard to breathe the first time. And just the noise, like the environmental overload was really full on. And I was like, and ran to the hills like a little bitch, like a little pussy. No. But the second time I went, I was like, okay, this time I'm going to use some tools and I'm really going to see India. I don't even know exactly. I know I expanded my lungs and like my solar plexus, and really, because I had asthma as a kid. So the minute my breathing goes, I start freaking out. So I was like, okay, what if like my lungs were okay with this? What if my body was okay with this? And I remember arriving in New Delhi and just being so in love instantly. Like I got in the taxi to take me to my hotel. And, you know, in India, they don't use horns to warn you about something. Horns are just a general form of communication between two cars. Like a horn can mean a million things, but a horn is to tell you something. One of like a million somethings that horn is telling you. So I remember just cracking up and just sitting in the back of this taxi, just staring out the window like a child in Disneyland. Like it was such polar opposites to my first experience of being there. And ever since then, I mean, I've traveled there maybe 5-6 times since that first time I went. And every time I go, I fall more and more in love with every aspect. Like, you know, the poverty, the richness, the color, the smells, like all of the things that India has to offer. And I remember, you know, my first Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider class that I facilitated there was in Pune, which is kind of up more towards Mumbai. And, you know, these Marwari horses that we got to work with there. Oh, my God, there was a mare who just had a foal with its little, like, crossed over ears. And I was, like, just instantly in love with – and straight away I was like, how can I have a horse in India? And, you know, last time I was there, I think it was the class we did in – was that Calcutta last time? Yeah. I came back and started researching importing Marwari horses into Australia from India. I was like, I could be the first breeder of Marwari horses in Australia because they'd probably be great at endurance. There'd be some. Anyway, it's a big thing. I haven't dropped that dream. It is definitely still in my realm of like possibility.
That's amazing.
But literally going from this place of like overwhelm and like whatever to this place of like, and you know, like you said, Alison, there's so many colors and there's so many dimensions to India, and there's the richest of the rich. Like I think the richest person in the world is an Indian guy, or he's very high up there with some of the richest people in the world. And then you have this level of poverty. But the thing I loved so much about the poverty is they were some of the happiest people I've ever seen in my life. Like these people walk around with smiles on their faces that you're like, you know, to me, I saw what happiness with nothing really looked like. And where community and religion and family really become the cornerstones of life, like where everything becomes about the people you live alongside of, especially your immediate family, your religion, and like your wider neighborhood. Like everything just, it really shifted my whole point of view about my little bitch pussy attitude about India is like scary and horrible. I was like, you need to fucking grow up, Sarah, and like actually get a grip here, woman. And now I love it. I'm like, and the food there, oh my God, sorry. I know I'm just like blabbering here.
So good.
The food in India, it's like, are you serious now? You guys know how to create really delicious cuisine. So
yes.
Yeah.
Best food in the world, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because also they don't just do Indian food amazingly. They do Asian food
Everything.
amazingly in general. Like, and then they do, their chefs are like, so anyway, yeah. And just what a country. Like really, it's like, and you know, people are like, what is India like? And I'm like, don't even ask me that. Just go. You have to go. If you want to know, you've got to go there. There's no way to explain what India is like because it defies all explanation. So
yeah, it's also like different in every single city. Like you couldn't categorize India if you tried.
No.
And I haven't even been to the South yet. Come on.
Yeah, I know. And then there's the nature side, right? Like I've seen a little bit of the nature, but I've predominantly spent my time in the more developed and you know, suburban and people populated areas. I mean, talk about some wild nature that exists there as well that, you know, is probably very untouched beauty that, you know, a lot of people don't see that side of India as well. So Komal, maybe tell us a little bit about when did horses come into your life? As a girl growing up in India, I know a little bit about your history. You come from a military family. I've met your parents. They are some of the most gorgeous people I've ever met in my life. Your brother is absolutely a kind being, but your parents are they were two people that really shook me to meet such kind and beautiful people that welcomed me into their home. But what was it like being a girl growing up in India, and when did horses start playing a role in your life?
Yeah, I like to say this. So it's like when I was growing up, horses weren't a part of my life, but I remember being in 11th grade and my dad took me for a lesson of horse riding. And but my world was like, I was so much in my head, and I also had so much entity awareness that time that I wasn't even aware that I was sitting on this animal. And I remember within, I think 2-3 minutes, he threw me off and I was off the horse.
I didn't know that. That's great.
And I was so shook I remember my world just being like this. He shook my world in this 360 degree. And I remember getting up and being like, something just hit me, but it also got me present, at least for that moment. And for that day, I remember being like, hey, what is this? And, and then but then I was totally in reaction. So I told my dad, I'm never going for a lesson again. No. And I think the only next time I did sit on a horse was in my conscious horse, conscious rider class with Alison. Wow. Yeah. And that was, and it just felt like the most wonderful experience ever. And I remember the trust exercise, and I remember not wanting to get off. Like, I was like, can I just be on this horse for the rest of my life and, just keep doing this trust exercise, and can we just take another round? Because that was just the most beautiful. And it also shed all the light. And once I was off that horse, I think I said yes to horses again in my life. And I was like, and after that, there's no going back. Like, every time I go in a cafe, I'll spot a horse painting. Every time I read a book, I'll spot a horse something. It's just this, I think working with horses has started becoming like a very natural aspect of my life. And I started working with conscious horse, conscious rider soon after. And I also would love, and I hosted Sarah the last year in Calcutta. And I would love to share, this time I came to Calcutta after that class, after a long time. And the energy of the city is so different. And the energy of the local horses I used to spot on the roads, and I used to feel like pity for them, or, feel like, oh, it's completely gone after that class. And I messaged her and I'm like, I think we did something for the horses of this place that I can't put in words, even if I tried, but it is so different now. And I think that's the gift. And I'm so grateful that you guys have been coming to India and bringing conscious horse, conscious rider, because I perceive it's a great gift for the horses here. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So Alison, can we talk a little bit about how you, is there anything you'd like to say to that energy of how you reconcile in your world where, you talked about the time you went there and where you started seeing, sometimes the level of what a lot of people call, horrendous cruelty and abuse, and all of these different words that get thrown around to create emotions in our world and make us feel helpless, or the horses feel helpless, or whatever. like how, like what do you see in that? Like what is beyond that, or what have you experienced from it in your time in India, or anything that you can speak about to that?
Yeah. Well, just, I love what Komal said. It was like, we had the class, and in these conscious horse, conscious rider classes, we ask a lot of questions, and we ask to create different futures, and we tap into horses and people and all kinds of things. And I'm not surprised, but it is surprising to a lot of people how much the energy of a place changes, or the energy of a whole barn changes. The place that I work out here, that place has changed and only gotten greater and greater over the years. And so that energy of, okay, so first going to India, and there is literally like horses being scraped off of the streets, being put in these places. And the more I'd say, I've gotten really good at practicing not like solidifying the "you poor thing" energy into the animal, because a lot of our projections and expectations and like "woe is you" energy actually makes it worse. It doesn't really allow for a possibility to happen. So we've all had a lot of practice of being like what we'd say interesting point of view. This is going on, or okay, so this is what's happening. What else is possible? So with these horses, without the eyes, or with the really, really skinny, or there was another Marwari horse who was beautiful, and she just had sores everywhere, like things were oozing out of here. And I was like, whoo, okay, what else is possible? What can we contribute to you? Basically, what can we do for you is one of the best questions you can be for being there for a horse or a person, or changing a future, even if it seems like totally fucked up. What can I do for you? Also, what can I contribute to you? And being being there for the horses in whatever they're choosing. So if they choose, we are not the ones that heal them. We can definitely kill them, but we're not the ones that choose to heal them or make them die. They are the ones that are going to choose to heal themselves or to die. But when you're there with a horse, both can be huge gifts, and you just being with them, supporting them, empowering them to choose either or is huge, and can change things quickly, either for life or death, which is both are awesome in that situation, especially. But also, the more that you be with horses in that way, without that, this is wrong and this would be right, the more you're literally changing it for all the horses in that area, and basically like all the horses in general, but especially in that area or that city or that barn. So if that made sense in English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, to highlight how much our points of view are kind of like a superpower in a way. Like it's something that we can wield to either create greater or to really fuck things up a lot. Like and also just to really highlight how interconnected we all are. Like whether you look at it from a scientific perspective and you look at quantum entanglements, or whether you're into metaphysics and you look at psychic capacities, or whether you're into energy and you look at how everything is made from the dust of stars and we're all, created from the same things and therefore interconnected. It's like if whatever sort of version of that you believe in, or even if you don't believe in it, but especially for those people that in some way believe the interconnectedness we all have, if through that you're projecting how this creature, this, this infinite being is like powerless, really, because you're basically projecting at it that you have no choice here, that you're poor, that you're helpless, that you're a victim, that you're less than me, basically, because I'm telling you the situation that you're in right now is wrong. That really it shuts down so many options for everything to change. And really like just tapping into, okay, so if I was willing to just not be okay with it. It's not about being like, nah, whatever, that's fine, you guys, but really having this space of, and I think the thing I love about Access Consciousness and Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider is it's so easy to get there because all you need to do is ask a question. All you need to do is remain in the question as much as you can. If you go to conclusion or you find yourself not being in question and therefore concluding or whatever that looks like for you, you just need to switch in and ask a question again. And that's all it fucking takes to change that whole that weapon that you wield as your point of view, from turning that into something that can just cut through and destroy everything to something that can actually shine a light into the darkest places and seemingly effortlessly change it without having to go in and you know, be this like savior and this, you know, martyr and this person that thinks they're the ones that is going to save all the horses, and actually empower the horses, the people, the land, like everything to contribute to something different, something else, something other possibility. Yeah.
You can't even figure it out. Like you can't.
You don't need to. And that's the good thing about it. That's the good thing about it. Because I've spent so much of my fucking life trying to figure things out. So much of my life being like, if I could just figure this out, I could change it. And the thing that Access Consciousness, Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider, consciousness in general, like whatever your version of this is, you never have to figure it out. You never have to know. You can explore, you can learn, you can take on more knowledge and more awareness, but you never have to understand anything. You can just always go to that place of being in the question and being in allowance and being interesting point of view, like you said, and let things change as they do. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Kind of like Komal, like, I love your example of when you fell off the horse in 11th grade, because it was like, oh, you're like, now you're like, oh, maybe the horse was trying to get my attention, or I was trying to tell me something. But, you know, you concluded like, nope, no horse. That was too much. And we do that all the time. But when you were ready to open up to the question again, like, oh, wait a minute, what else is possible here? What are horses? This is cool. Like, you literally opened up that question again, and it's just a great, like, kind of microcosm of all of us and what we can choose. Like, even if we've shut off to anything, and that doesn't seem like a possibility to us anymore, you can literally ask a question and open that back up anytime you want, no matter, you know, how shut that door seems, which I love. Horses show us that kind of stuff all the time. It's so cool.
Yeah, they don't hold grudges. They don't keep scorecards. They're not like, you know what, you've been a bit of a dick for like the past 5 years. So maybe in 5 years from now, I will forgive you for all of those trespasses. No, the moment you approach a horse and be like, hey, you know, let's try something different, or even you kind of just become different around them, and they throw the doors open. The doors are just automatically open to you in that moment. And I think the one thing that they're brilliant at is showing us the things that we may not be willing to look at, or the things that they can show us that maybe nothing else can. And whether you get it in the moment or not, like Komal's example of getting thrown off, you know, horses don't have a point of view. They're like, okay, you need to be shown this. I'm going to show you. I'm not going to do it from a place of malice or being mean to you. It's just that right now in your body and in your being, right, zoom, they'll just hone in on that thing and be like, there it is.
Pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they'll just walk away and get on with life. They're not
no
like
present, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, as far as like learning from something that is like the most present, like the thing that lives in like the seconds within seconds, they're so existing in not even a moment, in like less than a moment of space. I think we're really just brushing the surface of what they're actually here to and are willing to teach us about things. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's one more thing I would love to add, which is that I think like 2-3 years back, like I remember being in situations wherein I would always like mentally think that, you know, I wish like I could lead this, like, you know, I wish I could lead my life. Like, and I would keep telling myself that. And now I just like very recently realized that I don't have that anymore, because usually now in situations I am leading, and I'm like, that is such a cool thing, and horses have contributed so much, and all the CHCR classes. I would say it's my most favorite class ever so far. Like, it is so amazing, and it's like, I would also say, like, the juice in your body starts flowing more, like, after you do a CHCR class. Like, it's like, yes, I'm on this planet and I'm happy and I have horses, and what else is possible? Let's go.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I just want to mention there as well, is because, we've talked a lot about in this episode about what horses are here to show us and teach us, but it's very much like a reciprocal relationship. Like, it's also like, if you're willing to go and function a bit more like them, like, because even though we're both mammals and there's a lot of similarities between the human brain and the horse brain, the way that we experience emotions in our bodies, like the feelings that our bodies feel, the way that we kind of go about certain things can be very similar, but we're so very different as well. But when we're willing to kind of step into their world a little bit, it's also interesting how much we then get to see what we can contribute to them. Like, seeing the places where they've had situations in their life, they've had abuse, they've had trauma, they've had projections, they've had, most of the time it's people that have created it, but then how we can also be a contribution to uncreate and change that for them as well. And where we then become a tool to create a better world for them, where it becomes, because I don't know, I think everyone that's into horses, whether it's as a career or as a hobby, as a fun thing, at some point you had this like awe of horses, like this complete like googly-eyed like thing, and then at some point along the way you see so many people lose that, and it kind of goes away because it becomes something else. But I honestly think if you've ever had that with horses, that's really like your operative state with them. Like, that's the place to get to again. And it's, you watch those movies like Black Beauty when you're a kid, like the fairy tale things. And I know it's a fairy tale, like I get that. And there's still an element of truth in that for me, in as much as it is possible to have a relationship with horses that defies anything that we've been told is possible, anything that training a horse can teach us, or anything that being a great rider can teach us. All those things are good. All those things are great. But what is beyond all of that with the partnership and the relationship that we can have with these creatures? And that's what I'm going for.
Me too. Can I just say, I read Black Beauty, like one of my first books probably, and I literally have Black Beauty now.
Good. I'm so glad.
Lily, I got Lily and I'm like, you are exactly like, you look like Black Beauty. I think you have the same like white sock or something. But anyway.
Yeah. But it's so true. Like, why should we ever give up that childhood wonderment with them? Like, they all, there's that joke of like, every young girl goes through that stage of loving horses. And I'm like, but that never left me. Like, it never became, and, I think I mentioned on our podcast with Simone that we did, Alison, where I was like, I'm so glad I didn't grow up in like the classic horse family. Like, we could never afford horses when I was a kid. I never, like, I had to beg, borrow and steal just to get near a horse to pat it. And I'm sure the people that I found that had horses were probably like, can you go away now? Because I just stand there like, can I just pat your horse? Can I just like be near your horse? But there's so much of me that's glad that was, even though, now I'm in my early 40s and I really feel like I'm just getting into horses in a way where I'm truly understanding them. And I know that's considered like later in life, but I'm so glad that it happened that way, because I don't think I've ever really truly been ruined by a lot of the
points of view.
Yeah. Everyone knows that's been involved in pony club or, a terrible dressage instructor or
somebody's right way to do it.
Exactly. Some people's version of what it means to dominate these animals and, have them, you feel so good because you have this animal that's 4 or 5 or 10 times the size of you doing what you ask them. Yeah. I'm so grateful in a lot of ways that I still believe in Black Beauty, and I totally am with you there. I'm like, yes.
Me too.
Yeah. The fantasy is real, people. The fantasy is real. And I know we need to wrap this up. So maybe just before we finish, Komal, do you want to mention a little bit about the class that we have coming up? I mean, you don't have to be specifics about dates and stuff like that because we can post all of that, but a little bit about the stable or the location or anything that you'd like to mention?
Yeah. Because I think since Sarah said she hasn't explored the nature part of India, we have our class in a very beautiful green pasture place beside a small village, and but really beautiful, and we have a beautiful canal flowing behind it. So if you're coming, if I can entice you enough, on the last day we will be going on a trail ride through the canal and have a look at Ahmedabad and its beauty, because Ahmedabad has a lot of rivers flowing through it, and flights are easy to get to. You can come easily. Trains come to Ahmedabad, so come join us from 6th to 8th December, and I think it's the place is so different. It has its own language, culture, and I'm excited to explore.
Wow.
Yeah, that with everybody, and come join us for this adventure. Also, I would love to say, if you are a rider, this class also will teach you something about riding, which I am personally very excited about. Like if you're looking for something really to go beyond what you've been taught about riding in this reality, I would say come join us. And we can't wait to see you.
I like it when you say Ahmedabad, because when I say it, I say Ahmedabad. I'm like, how many syllables do we do? Ahmedabad.
Thank you so much, ladies. And I just want to leave one quick thing as well that I'm discovering more with my horses at the moment is what can horses show us about our it's not really our relationship with our bodies, but it's almost like we inhabit these bodies, right, that we have here on this planet as humans or whatever you want to call us. And I don't know about you guys, but my whole life I've kind of struggled with this thing that I inhabit, this thing that takes me around the place and gives me all the access to do all of the cool things like riding horses, but so many other things. And what I'm really exploring at the moment is how horses are with their bodies and what they can, well, not even what they can show me, but almost like what can they invite me to be with my body that actually is going to create more communion with them and the way they are with their bodies. Because you look at these creatures that have existed on this planet for, a few 100,000 years, being at the bottom of all, everything wants to eat them, but they've created these beautiful bodies. Like all you need to do is watch a horse travel through a field, even if they're just walking. But if you're lucky enough to see one freely galloping through a field, and the way that they inhabit their form and their body is something that it's also transpiring into my world a lot. So if you are unsure about a class with horses showing you anything except horse stuff, please trust me that they will literally facilitate you, and we will be there to help whatever you're looking for. And at the moment for me, it's definitely stuff around bodies.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Me too. Everything. All the things.
Everything they all said. All the things. Alison's like, can I go to bed now, please? I need to get my ass to Costa Rica.
I have to get to my horse in Costa Rica.
I need to get, exactly. Oh, I'm having Jomo. I'll be there in 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Oh, and then, we've also got a class coming up in Costa Rica. Shit. So, if you're on that side of the world, anywhere near the United States, South America, Latin America, Central America, or even Australia. I mean, come on, I'm spending 24 hours to get there, so you might as well. We do have a class coming up. I have no idea what the dates are. It might be October
or 15th, I think.
Yeah,
something around there.
I think so.
Yeah. And, you know, we've talked a lot about India. Hey, if you want to experience another absolutely phenomenal part of the world, come to Costa Rica and meet the Costa Sensei de Paso, which is the horse of Costa Rica. A beautiful creature unto itself. So anyway, thank you, ladies. I love you so much. I'm so excited about everything.
Me too.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.